In this video, I'm going to discuss whether it is appropriate for Christians to watch Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones is a worldly cultural phenomenon sweeping across borders and peoples, and whenever I see moments like these, I know this is an opportunity to show off the great differences between a Christian and the world. Hi, I'm Pramod George for Applied Christianity. If you're new here, welcome. We create videos that make the gospel relevant to you. Listen, you know that I don't mince words and waste time, so no, I don't think that Game of Thrones is appropriate for Christians to watch. It is sexually suggestive, contains explicit content, bad language, and designed to desensitize and titillate the male fantasy. Pramod, listen, you're being just too legalistic, okay? Game of Thrones is an amazing story. Forget about the nudity and the sex and all those things. Do you know, have you even seen it? It's amazing. It's amazing, okay? How did we get here? How is it that we are at a place that we can condone Game of Thrones just because it has a good story? Do you remember this old saying, if I gave you a chocolate cookie and told you that one of the chocolate chips in there was actually shit, would you put that in your mouth? No? Then why the double standard with Game of Thrones? Yes, it may have a good story, but it is laced with evil, and that's exactly how the devil plays the game. He tries to smuggle evil into the Christian's life. Listen, here are two things I want you to remember. Number one is God desires purity or holiness in the inmost being. It's no longer about not talking about Game of Thrones or watching it privately without anybody knowing about it. But it's about deciding in your heart that you will not seek after a stumbling block because you have committed your heart to be holy. It says in Proverbs 4 verse 23 to 27, above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. Keep your mouth free of perversity, keep corrupt talk far from your lips. Let your eyes look straight ahead, fix your gaze directly before you, and give careful thought to the paths for your feet, and be steadfast in all your ways. Do not turn to the right or the left, keep your foot from evil. Young men and women, ask yourselves, what kind of barriers and custom checks have you erected to keep evil from sneaking into your heart? If there aren't any that you can articulate, then you haven't obviously thought about it enough. The second thing I want to talk to you about is to be able to stand out and explain your differences. Here's a simple thought. If you look like the world and talk like the world and walk like the world, guess what you are? You are of the world. I'm sorry to say so, but Christ commanded us to be the salt of the earth and the light on the hill so that we can lead people to the light of the world, which is Jesus. And how do we expect to do that if we ourselves do not stand out and show ourselves to be of a different metal that people can see and wonder about? Finally, I want to leave you with a quote from John Piper. Here's what he says. The closer I get to death and meeting Jesus personally face to face and giving an account for my life and for the careless words that I have spoken, the more sure I am of my resolve never intentionally to look at a television show or a movie or a website or a magazine where I know I will see photos or films of nudity. Never. That is my resolve. And the closer I get to death, the better I feel about that and the more committed I become. So that's it from me. If this video helped you and made you think, make sure you share it with others and make them think as well. And I will see you in the next one.